Well, I can only say that whatever his views are this morning, they might change this afternoon, and they were different than they were last night, and they'll be different tomorrow. Sounds like a typical politician, by the way, where you get in front of one crowd and say one thing and then say something else to another crowd that may want to hear a different view. All the things that Donald Trump railed against, he seems to be morphing into. It's kind of disturbing.
Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, who essentially lost primarily on the issue of immigration in the primary against Donald Trump, talking today for the first time about this change in tone and words being used by Donald Trump. We're back with the panel. Lisa, I mean, this is just listening to what Trump said to Sean Hannity last night. I mean, it is completely different than what he said on the primary campaign trail. And listen to Jeb Bush there. He was the recipient of the attacks.
Well, from a rhetorical standpoint, yes. I mean, I don't think we've seen any policy difference, or at least he hasn't laid out that big policy speech that people were expecting, indicating a change. But I think ambiguity is sort of his friend and an enemy this election cycle, in the sense that he was somewhat, there was a lot of ambiguity regarding what that deportation, that mass deportation would look like. And so that sort of was his friend, because he didn't really have to get nailed down on the specifics. But now it's sort of his enemy. And the situation he's presented with right now is a lose-lose in a sense. With, if he goes with his original statements, and when he was talking about those mass deportations, he's going to get hit from the left. He's going to get hit from the mainstream media as inhumane for wanting to follow the laws in the books. However, if he changes his opinion and allows for some sort of legalization or amnesty, then he's going to alienate some of his core constituency and get hit with that as well. So I think he's sort of presented with a lose-lose scenario at this current moment.
Sure, but I mean, Jeb Bush is a guy who got attacked by Donald Trump for saying it was an act of love for not to split up families, and Trump hammered him on the debate stage. I remember it. I was there.
Jeb is absolutely right. This is the position of the Gang of Eight. The position that we've now heard adopted by Trump is the position of Rubio, and Jeb, you could even say Chuck Schumer. And to say this is ambiguity, I think is not quite right. There's nothing ambiguous about wanting to have a deportation force to expel 11 million people. He was very clear about that again and again. He didn't have specifics because he never has specifics for anything. But that was his position. His position is not that today. You watch him on Hannity, he's saying, you know, the people have been here 20 years, you don't want to kick them out. They've got children, they have roots. This is exactly the argument that the softliners on immigration have been taking, and that Trump had denounced, and beyond denouncing, ridiculed. Remember, he once said, if I went out on Fifth Avenue and I shot somebody, I wouldn't lose any supporters. Well, now it's, if I went out and completely reversed position on immigration, which was the central issue in my campaign, I wouldn't lose anybody. Well, let's see whether that's true.
But does he want to do this, Steve? Is this part of this grand plan in the campaign, considering that he's not going to lose those people because they've already hardened against Hillary Clinton and they're motivated to vote for him?
I think he could lose some of those people. I was talking to a senior Republican, and I was very supportive of Donald Trump, but is passionate about this issue, about immigration in particular, who said, look, this is why people came to him initially. I mean, this is the big argument for him. I mean, part of it was strength, part of it is the way that he talked, but people supported him because he was strong on immigration. He was stronger than Ted Cruz. He fought Marco Rubio. He went after Jeb Bush again and again and again. That's what Donald Trump did, and it caused some of his support. Now, I don't think these people are suddenly going to turn and vote for Hillary Clinton, but if it dampens their enthusiasm, you look at the support that he's got for Republicans already, it's between 75 and 80%, whereas Hillary Clinton's getting 90% of the Democrats. And just to the earlier point, rhetoric in a presidential campaign is policy. I mean, we don't need to wait for a presidential speech. I mean, this is what he's doing every time he speaks, is he's making new policy, and this is a full flip-flop. I mean, not just on the deportation force, but as you suggest, what he outlined last night sounds very similar to the position that Jeb Bush ran on in the primaries, that Trump went after him on, and the Gang of Eight.
Quickly, when you look at these polls, and There is a trend here, Heidi. Is this race starting to harden before Labor Day? I mean, are we starting to get to the point where we kind of know the framework of this race?
I think it is, just out of the fact that this is the natural ebb and flow of a campaign, that they start to harden. The numbers start to harden after the conventions. I think that Donald Trump, being the underdog, however, has both a big challenge but also an opportunity in terms of the debates. And I think that's what we'll have to keep our eyes on, is, what kind of Donald Trump shows up to this debate.
September 26th. Should be fun. Panel, thank you. That's it for the panel. But when we come back, we will celebrate the National Park Service's 100th birthday.